Now, here in Nigeria, the heads of the African Cybercrimes Unit under the auspices of Interpol are meeting in Abuja to find ways to tackle the growing problem of cybercrime and other transnational criminal activity. They're discussing a range of issues around cybercrime, including information sharing and operational activity to combat the threat. They'll also be discussing other law enforcement challenges such as financial crime, terrorism and corruption, as well as human trafficking and maritime piracy. Correspondents say new types of cybercrime are emerging all the time in Africa, with organized cyber criminals exploiting digital technologies to tailor their attacks and target weaknesses in online systems, networks and infrastructures.
Together as a unified force, we have a power to outmaneuver even the most sophisticated adversaries. Let us seize this opportunity to share knowledge, collaborate and strengthen our collective defences. Alone, we may possess strength, but together we harness power. In leadership, no one person achieves greatness. It is the collective effort for unity of purpose that propels us towards success.
Strengthening global and regional police cooperation to prevent, detect, investigate, and disrupt cybercrime through the sharing data and information and understanding operational activities to counter cybercrime and reduce the global impact of cybercrime and protect communities for a safer world. Increase the sharing and exchange of data and information to facilitate Interpol cybercrime intelligence analysis. Enhance cybercrime intelligence on inter alia cyber threat actors and modus operandi for effective responses to cybercrime by actively participating and contributing to Interpol cybercrime analysis file.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Arise Defense and Security correspondent Ferdinand Duruoha. Good to see you, Ferdinand.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Just tell us more about the Cybercrime Conference taking place here in Abuja.
Well, it's quite interesting, Charles, and well, from what we've seen, in recent times, it's very clear that crimes and criminals have gone borderless. In other words, well, you're here in Nigeria, and there are a couple of guys here trying to scam somebody who is abroad, and so it is, Boko Haram, ISWAP. They can make money through mining activities in Zamfara state and then cause problems across the continent. Now, that's exactly the reason why whatever concerns a crime in Nigeria should also concern crime fighters in Kenya, in South Africa, and even in the United States. And that's because we see that, this has gone borderless and it's transnational right now. Now, that's exactly why they've come together, and they'll be talking strategies, they'll be talking technologies, they would also be talking law. Well, in terms of strategies, well, let's look at it. What exactly are we going to do to ensure that we curtail movement of funds, to ensure that, we don't just allow people, move funds around from one place to the other.
So financial crime, a big issue.
It's indeed a big issue. And then talking about technology also, well, what are the latest technologies that are being used across the world? Are there apps that are coming in, that people are developing in the United States that they've used to indeed, cause, problems? There's Camera Society here, and then, look out for those apps also in Africa. And then also it's very, very important to also look at law. Let's look at the legal frameworks. A Ponzi scheme, it's possible that a Ponzi scheme in Nigeria, cannot be a problem in Kenya, or perhaps somebody commits a crime in a Ponzi scheme in Nigeria and then runs over to Kenya or in some other places where it is not a crime. And so how do you get to extradite this person? So these are the things that they are trying to harmonize. They're trying to make sure that, yes, let's collectively put the data that we have in Nigeria and then in other countries and then analyze it together and be sure that there is a collective approach to a solution.
Right. And of course, the problem of cybercrime is growing, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's why they're having these meetings.
True.
Cyber criminals getting more sophisticated, breaches of cybersecurity getting more serious.
I'll give you a statistics. Well, from the last time that they had a meeting, based on analysis from 2022, 2023, well, they say over 14 high targets indeed have been arrested, and then also they noticed more than 20,000 conduit circuits through which, some of these crimes have indeed gone through. Now, that's quite high, but then when you take a look at, the amount of, of scams that go across the world, you see that there is a whole lot for more to be done. And, it's gone just behind, gone beyond cybercrime right now. Where we're talking about the cyberspace, making sure that it is depolluted, making sure that, whatever happens there is safe for the kids.
And is it worse in some parts of Africa than in others?
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And that's because in terms of legislature, well, not everybody have put in enough legislation to indeed tackle this. And then even when you try to tackle it, well, financially, it's also a crime. I can tell you that aside Nigeria and then about 2 other countries, as they mentioned earlier today, well, we have very few countries that have cyber labs that can indeed track.
Right.
And when you can't track, when you can't monitor, these people would move monies around, even your central bank, and you will not be able to track it. You will not be able to trace it. And, it's indeed a problem for the world globally.
That's a very important question, because I was going to ask you, does Nigeria, for instance, have enough quality cybersecurity experts to mitigate the growing threat of cyber criminals?
Well, when the IGP...
Or Nigeria is a little bit better than others.
When the IGP was actually speaking today, well, he indeed said, we have the second highest cyber analyst in the world, I beg your pardon, in Africa, and he's calling on other African countries to make use of the Nigerian Cybercrime Center, Nigerian Police Cybercrime Center, and then come in here, do your analysis. But I dare say something, well, even for us, it's also a problem, and that's because, we do not have some legislations to indeed support it. And then also, finance is also a problem. This is something that you need to update daily.
So funding critical.
Funding is a critical problem. You need money to buy some of these very expensive, softwares and hardwares that can be used to indeed track these criminals. So, well, we just hope that the government will look at this area, get to understand the kind of damage that it indeed causes, and try and make some interventions.
Okay, Ferdinand, thank you very much indeed. Ferdinand Duruoha is Arise Defense and Security Minister.